Hey there, I'm Heidi Swapp, and today I want to show you this DIY project that I just did last night for the holidays. And that's one of my favorite things about the holidays is creating little DIY decor pieces that I can change out that makes my holiday fresh every time. So basically, this is all it is. I picked up this cute little wreath at the craft store, and all I did was layer it right over this faux wood. It's a chipboard faux wood piece, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to paint it and stamp it. And really, you could put any message here that you want, but I've noticed that gather is kind of the word of the season for sure. All right, so this is how it starts out. It looks like wood, and you can see that there's kind of some embossing here for the planks and also the wood grain. So I'm just going to kind of show you here up close the contrast. So what we're going to do is actually put gray paint on first and then white paint on second. Now if you think to yourself, okay, I want this to be more white with gray highlights or brown with darker brown, you could really kind of play with which paints that you use to kind of create this look. But this is so easy because all I'm going to do is just squirt some acrylic paint right onto this board. Now this paint is from the Heidi Swapp Distress Kits. This is, I think it's called whitewash. And normally you would put you could decide if you want to put the gray, and it's kind of metallic-y even, it's really pretty. Gray on first and then white on second. But in this case, we're just going to want to make sure that we get this all the way into the grooves. And I'm just using a makeup sponge. It's really inexpensive. I just throw it away when I'm done. I am not a brush cleaner outer. So just make sure that you get all the edges, spread that paint over, and you want it to really fill in. We don't want to see any of that chipboard brown. Sometimes you have to move the little foam applicator in all four directions so that you make sure that it gets into all of the crevices, backwards, forwards, up, down, so that you really don't see the brown. Okay, so wait until that is completely dry to the touch, and then you're going to add your layer of white paint. I kind of just go the same route. Oh, there's, I think that, don't worry, my nozzle's clogged. So you're just going to paint the white right over the top. Now this doesn't have to be quite as perfect, but you definitely want to make sure that you're getting a nice coverage. Okay, so now that the white is dry, I'm going to take just a regular wet wipe, and I'm just going to kind of wash around and remove some of the white. And really what it does is the white is just going to go into those crevices and highlight the wood grain. You don't want to scrub too hard. It's just kind of softly to accentuate the wood grain. So I'm kind of focusing on the center area because that's really what I'm going to see as I look through my wreath. And so you kind of want to eyeball and know exactly what you have to work with. And so if you want to take a pencil and kind of mark that off, you can. So here you could put any word that you wanted to put, whether it was your family name or Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving or whatever you wanted to put in that little area. And I'm going to use this is what the foam stamps look like. This is the small size. There's actually two sizes. This is the smaller of the two sizes. And I'm just going to use a regular acrylic paint and again my little makeup wipes. So what I like to do, I'm going to spell out the word gather. You always want to make sure that you spell it right. We joke about that, but that's a real thing here. So what I'm going to do is, I don't like to use a lot of paint, so I kind of drag it out and just kind of tap it onto the letter. You for sure don't want a lot of paint, so where it's pooling and then when you press down it's kind of going to squeeze out. You just want a really small amount of paint on there. And then give it a nice amount of pressure and make sure that it gets into all those. Now it's not going to be perfect because there is kind of a wood grain. And I do recommend that as you go, you kind of wipe off each letter. Okay, so now that you have the word gather already stamped, I went ahead and did a little extra touches to it using a Sharpie, actually. So I used a silver Sharpie that just kind of went right along the edge, giving the word gather a little bit of a shadow. And I used a fine tip pen to kind of make some little marks right in the shadow to try to make it stand out just a little bit more. And then I wrote the word gather together in Sharpie over the top. Now really that just kind of gave it a little bit extra something to my sign. So that was it. Then all I did was stuck this standing up in kind of the back of a shelf cubby. And then after I tied this ribbon on to my wreath, and then I hung a command strip and was able to kind of float this wreath right over the top. Now what's cool about this is if you get tired of the word gather, you can always go back and paint over it and add a new sentiment for a different time of year, even a different color, and maybe even a different wreath. But this is a very versatile, really quick, makes a great gift, perfect holiday decor. So grab yourself one of these faux wood backboards and make pretty stuff.